you're looking for a little more. More strength, more energy, more hydration, more recovery. Those muscles, growing and repairing right now. More power to push forward, bounce back, or just stay and stay and stay. More self-belief, more life, more of just about anything. For over 35 years, we've been putting more into performance nutrition. So we know how to help you find a little bit more. There's more of you in you. And we can help you find it.
You know, you might, if you're pen and paper folks, if you want to take it down along the way, some to change there. So if I do the opening scene setting.
So you're looking for a little more. More strength, more energy, more hydration, more recovery. Those muscles, growing and repairing right now. More power to push forward, bounce back, or just stay and stay and stay. More self-belief, more life, more of just about anything. For over 35 years, we've been putting more into performance nutrition. So we know how to help you find a little bit more. There's more of you in you. And we can help you find it.
Good afternoon and welcome to UCD Belfield here in Dublin on a nice day, blustery day, 12 degrees, dry, lovely firm surface, and the wind is going to be company for us here today, blowing right to left. It's predicted on the weather app at least to continue to puff hard across the day. This is the 13th fixture in the All-Ireland League Division 1, Energia Division 1A, and we've got UCD in 10th playing Garryowen in 12th. Garryowen at the bottom at the moment, slated to go down to Division 1B, or at least to go into the playoff. And while there's 15 points between the teams, UCD on 22 points, Garryowen on 7 points, there's still 30 points, or in fact I think there is, there's 30 points still on the table to be won by either side. But when you look at that, both teams have to play the top teams in the league. After this game, Garryowen, they've a fixture coming up against Shannon, but other than that they're playing top 5 teams, and UCD's matches, all of them on the run in to the close of the season, are against the top 5 teams in the league. So this is a game really of double jeopardy. Garryowen, it's absolute do or die stuff. UCD might feel they've got a bit of a cushion, but that all changes on a day like today if you lose against one of the teams below you. And with me commentating today on lead commentary is John Gilsonen. Gilso, how are you seeing today?
All good, good, Merv. Listen, pretty good day for rugby. Bit of a right to left wind as we look at it, but can't really complain. There's been a bit of misty drizzle this morning, but it looks clear now, and we'll take you through our teams for this afternoon. There's a couple changes to the Garryowen team, so I'll call them out. They might be different on your screen, but they've made a few match day changes anyway. In the front row for Garryowen is Michael Veal, Larry Kelly and Dara McCarthy. In the second row, Kevin Seymour and Oisin Cook. In the back row, Johnny Keane, Des Fitzgerald and Tim Ferguson, number 8. The halfbacks are Neil Cronin and Tony Butler. In the centre, Jamie Houston and the Garryowen captain and Matt Sheehan, and the back three of Tommy O'Hora, Henry Buttimer and Jamie Shanahan. The UCD team is as follows on your screen: Chris Hennessy, Bobby Sheehan captain and Evan Coyle, Martin Fallon and Jerry Hill in the second row, the back row of Bill Burns, Mark Fleming and Sean O'Brien, the halfbacks Mick Maloney and James Tarrant. In the centre, Ben Brownlee and David Ryan, and the back three of Alex O'Grady, Harry Donnelly and Chris Cosgrave at 15.
Thanks, Gil. So both teams, UCD, both teams have had one victory each since the turn of the year. UCD winning here the last time out about 3 weeks ago against Shannon. Garryowen's only win of the season so far came against Lansdowne. And in this fixture down in Garryowen earlier in the season, I think it was in October, saw UCD running out in a high scoring game, 22-47 winners away from home. So UCD's story of their season, 2 more wins than Garryowen, but they've also been picking up bonus points on their losses. 4 bonus points to Garryowen picking up just 1. And then try bonus points, I think Garryowen's on 2 try bonus points and UCD picking up 6. So UCD picking up other points along the way. For the statos out there, yeah, I did the math. On average, UCD are losing matches by 9 points. So creeping into a 2-score game. And Garryowen also on 3-score game with an average margin of 16 points is sort of exemplified by that 22-47 blowout. But that was a good number of months ago. Both teams won the last time out. Garryowen against Lansdowne, UCD against Shannon. Very similar scoring in both matches. So they're primed for do-or-die stuff here today in the Battle of the Blues. UCD going back to a second strip.
Yes, UCD playing in the dark blue and Garryowen in their home light blue. And today's match official, Stuart Gaffigan, very experienced in the AIL, and we're set for an absolute cracker.
You're very welcome wherever you are watching today, particularly those abroad, and of course those from Garryowen who haven't been able to make the trip. You're ably led here by your indomitable president, Pa Whelan, who always brings good touring party with him. And his counterpart is Gilso, my co-commentator's father, none other than Brian Gilsonan, president of college rugby this year.
Kick off from Tony Butler into the midfield, fielded by James Tarrant, and UCD look to exit through Chris Cosgrave here. Cosgrave kicks it long. Back to Tony Butler, he'll send it back. Straight back to Cosgrave. And kicked again. This could be an early sign, similar to Ireland-France, the territory absolutely crucial. David Ryan at the block down in UCD. Back to David Ryan into the corner. But Stuart Gaffigan's called an offside penalty.
Well, that could have been a really fast start there. College winning the kick tennis through Chris Cosgrave, and you're seeing he's got the benefit of that wind in this half. So College are going to need to use that wind to good effect.
You can see there, Dave Ryan, I think, just in front of Cosgrave there, and Garryowen the penalty.
Garryowen will definitely consider that a let-off.
Larry Kelly with the first line out of today. It'll be a pretty big battle. Sean O'Brien calling it for UCD. Garryowen go for them all. It's at the back with Larry Kelly. UCD put in a good counter drive.
2 good counters, you rarely see that.
The ball seems to be there for Garryowen. Neil Cronin trying to dig it out. The ball stripped in contact with Brownlee now. David Ryan plays scrum half, and back to Cosgrave. Evan Coyle now. Sean O'Brien on the ball. He'll look to get on a lot of ball today. Serious ball player. Jerry Hill takes it forward. Back with Evan Coyle now. UCD looking to play here. Chris Hennessy. Just knocked on there by Mark Fleming, but Garryowen defence looking pretty strong, Murph.
Yeah, Garryowen well up to it there. UCD, though, still advancing. I think we'll be happy with how they went through the phases there. Very crisp passing. You know, that drop ball at the end there was just good contact, good solid contact in the tackle. But both teams looking very sharp, and UCD just getting the better of the mini battles at the moment, turning over a ball and moving it quite quickly there. But the pitch really, as we walked across, it's in billiard table condition. It is in great nick, and if the wind doesn't become too much of a factor, it's a great day for whatever way you want to play it, through the hands or kicking.
And Garryowen, the first scrum, I think it's against Hennessy on the loose head side.
No, tight head. I'm call
Tight
that
head,
for
Evan
tight head.
Coyle.
Evan Coyle seemed to have given way, and a bit of chat between Coyle and the referee in terms of what the referee saw and what he wants to see next time around.
Tony Butler with the kick for touch. Tough kicking into that wind, but
Good
Makes
length
a
on
good
that.
touch. Larry Kelly again, throwing into the line out, and UCD will look to counter it with Sean O'Brien, Martin Fallon, Jerry Hill, 3 big men looking to get in the air. Sean O'Brien goes up, but Garryowen managed to hold on to it. Taken forward by Dev Fitzgerald in the midfield. Trying to go out the back.
Still behind the gain line, so a lot of movement from Garryowen, but nobody actually getting over the gain line yet.
Oisin Cook there hit kind of driven backwards with UCD. Garryowen have numbers here, but UCD get across and Mick Maloney makes a good tackle. Neil Crowden feeds into the midfield. Johnny Keane carries. Jamie Hewson, the Garryowen captain, takes it forward and they go out the back. That's knocked on in the midfield by Garryowen, and Brownlee looks to kick it, but it going too far. We'll go back for the scrum, I think.
Yeah, UCD bringing very good line speed there, and a poor unfortunate forward, probably a back rower I think, was caught in open prairie at the site of onrushing defence and took his eye off the ball. Pass wasn't the most sympathetic, and we're back to pretty much where that line out started with a scrum to UCD.
Yeah, one proper attacking phase each from both UCD and Garryowen, and pretty solid defensively from both sides, forcing the errors. We can see early on neither team given an inch. In the midfield scrum, UCD set up three players on each side, keep Garryowen guessing. They look to go left through Cosgrave and out to David Ryan. And Alex O'Grady now on the wing, cuts inside, really good from Alex O'Grady. UCD look to move it quick with Hennessy, but it's just knocked on. Garryowen will play with the advantage through Tony Butler. And out in Tommy O'Hara on the far side to ourselves. And Stuart Gaffigan bringing it back for the knock-on in the midfield from Hennessy.
And this time it was UCD forward Chris Hennessy, a prop in open field. I suppose it's expected nowadays, isn't it, Gilso, that forwards can do everything that backs can do, but Chris maybe not the ideal man to be taken, which was a pretty hard spin pass heading its way out to what was probably aimed for a back.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that. UCD made a pretty good gain line from the scrum through Cosgrave, David Ryan and Alex O'Grady, who did well to really get over Garryowen, but they looked to move it quick, but probably a bit too quick. Hennessy was charging onto it, but not to be.
O'Grady's line there from right under the camera, it looked like Damien Pinot-esque. He was at a 45-degree angle for the corner there. It was reminders of last week. Fleeting.
And Stuart Gaffigan resetting the scrum, and both teams looking to show the dominant picture. Garryowen obviously got one up in the first scrum, but UCD will look to keep it solid with Hennessy and Coyle. But you'd say it's advantage Garryowen after one scrum penalty.
Not much between the packs in terms of size. You'd say they're pretty evenly matched by the looks of things. Referee still not happy.
Free kick this time taken quickly by Neil Cronin, and Tommy Butler with the kick forward. Neil Cronin with it. Kicked forward, UCD ball.
Lovely bit of skill there from Neil Cronin, brother of Sean Cronin, who's plenty of Munster caps to his name, and that was a nice bit of skill, chip, regather, and then a worker of a ball, as the late Bill McLaren used to say. Apologies to people from Yorkshire for that Scottish accent.
The maul taken down early by Garryowen. Mick Maloney looking to box kick now. It's a really good box kick from Maloney, and Henry Buttimer fields it. Feeds it to his fullback, Jamie Shanahan, and taken down just in the Garryowen half, but penalty against Ben Brownlee there. Stuart Gaffigan saying he wasn't coming through the gate there.
Well, this gives Garryowen an opportunity to get some field position to work something off. There's been very little play within the 222 so far.
It's certainly an easy in given to Garryowen by UCD, but against this wind, the wind will probably play a pretty big part, and Tony Butler once again kicking into the wind, but it's not the strongest wind, but it definitely will play a factor. And he hasn't got a lot out of that, but still a line out inside the UCD half, which Garryowen will look to build on.
Yeah, College so far choosing to compete against the Garryowen throw, with Sean O'Brien in particular being put up. So we'll see what they go for here. He's at the moment he's turning around square now. It looks like O'Brien's going to compete again.
Not the best line out from Garryowen, but Tony Butler fields in the midfield. Garryowen sending forwards around the corner. We'll look to play here. Back with Butler. They go wide, but the UCD defence is there. Tied head Dara McCarthy, big man. And I think it's turned over, but Martin Fallon there. UCD be delighted with that. Back to Cosgrave now. A lot of space back here in this corner. Really good kick from Cosgrave. Will it find its way into touch? It won't. But Brownlee's putting up a really good kick, Jason. It's just kicked in into touch by Jamie Shanahan. And UCD have a line out in the 5. Really good from Cosgrave.
And that was a boomer from Cosgrave. You'd have thought really with the angle and trajectory that it was going to take a bounce into touch. We would have been happy with that, I think. However, it worked out even better with the throw in now.
You can see it here, yeah. Jamie Shanahan just taking no chances and sending it rose ed pretty much. And Brownlee, really good kick chase, putting the pressure on. And now Bobby Sheehan feeds the line out, taken by Bill Burns in the air, and UCD go to the maul. Solid from Garryowen so far, but UCD will look to get the second shove on. Still at the back there. Garryowen getting through. Mick Maloney looking to use it now. Brownlee kind of taking it on the back foot, but UCD still with possession. Taken forward now by Hennessy. Into the midfield to David Ryan. And Garryowen defence, very strong so far. Mark Fleming taking that up now. Here's O'Brien. You can see the strength of that man getting through the gain line just about. Back with Hennessy. Jerry Hill taking that forward. Back with Maloney, but it's a Garryowen scrum. UCD knock on. Just in contact there by Jerry Hill, I think it was. UCD be disappointed with that as a line out in the 5 and kind of just getting pushed back and getting nowhere.
Very good defence, very good line-out maul defence from Garryowen there. They really got in amongst them, got hands on the ball, messed things up. UCD did well a couple of times there. The move could have broken down completely, but they did well. They looked to be getting a bit more traction going through O'Brien and Chris Hennessy taking a nice short flat ball, but Garryowen's defence resolute.
Absolutely, they you can tell the fight in them, the do or die attitude, and they're really they're bringing it to UCD so far.
Yeah, 12 minutes gone and still waiting for the first score. Referee happier with the Garryowen scrum, or at least not happy with the UCD scrum so far. And there we go, once again.
I think, was that our third scrum, or fourth anyway, and 2 penalties to Garryowen as well as a free kick. So
very few completed anyway, Gilso.
Correct, yes. Garryowen anyway with the upper hand so far. UCD will look to fix that, but it's easier said than done in the middle of a game. And Butler now kicking towards the stand side, and the sun just decides to come out, which makes it a lovely picture. Butler finds touch just short of the 10-metre line, and Garryowen will look to use the line again. UCD have disrupted the Garryowen line out once or twice already, so They look to go again with probably putting O'Brien in the air or Jerry Hill or Fallon. Larry Kelly hasn't looked too confident with ball in hand from the touchline, but they'll hopefully gather it here. And
I think O'Brien pressuring the throw has been part of that. He seems to be primed to go again. O'Brien at the front.
He's a really good player with, I think, three Leinster senior appearances, and
That
getting in the air once again and crooked throw.
Free kick indeed. Was it double? I think it was a double throw, or the dummy throw.
Correct.
And UCD going for a scrum.
Very interesting. Maybe on their ball they feel like they have something. Obviously Hennessy or Coyle feels like they can get the upper hand on something.
We'll know soon enough whether or not that was the right call. But they need to, we need the scrums, we need first phase possession to be a strength of the game very early for it to become a problem.
Once again, thank you to our matchday sponsors, Optimum Nutrition. On ball into the midfield to Brownlee, out the back to Harry Donnelly. Cosgrave now looks to dance his way through, does really well. Taken down by Butler just inside this Garryowen 22. Jerry Hill now out the back to Tarrant. Really good. Bobby Sheehan takes it forward now. UCD looking to use this quick ball and get over Garryowen and play quicker than them anyway. Jerry Hill now holds on to it. UCD come back this way now through Hennessy.
Garryowen still seem to have good shape in their defence. Plenty of numbers.
There's numbers here now if UCD move it. But they go through O'Brien. UCD calling for it on this side, but Garryowen scramble a few players across. Martin Fallon now. UCD about 5 metres short. Pick and go. Maloney has it now back to Hennessy. And Hennessy driven backwards. It's good from Garryowen. UCD will really hope to come away with at least something here.
Needs a bit of craft, I think, Gilso. Garryowen are very well organised, plenty of numbers. Either brute force or a bit of craft here to suck them in before releasing it again.
Taking forward again, about 4 metres short now. Given to O'Brien, and he can cause some damage, as we know. Maloney digs for it. Not the quickest ball. Oh, and it's an interception. Tommy O'Hara with the interception, and UCD conceding a penalty. Garryowen once again giving them absolutely nothing.
Yeah, UCD being undone with through a tip tackle against the Garryowen winger, who took advantage of the tip passes that UCD forwards were looking to put a bit of speed and width on the ball to try and find a gap there. But really good nip and tuck, both sides. Garryowen's defence the sharper than UCD's attack on that occasion.
Probably what I would say, it doesn't look, UCD kind of looked like a bit kind of unorganised, if you call it that, but it's kind of pick and go, and then they set a pod, and then it's not exactly one thing where they're trying to suck them in through the pick and goes. They're kind of varying it a bit, whether that's the plan or not, but Garryowen stayed strong and held them out.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I don't think UCD looked like they've sort of decided on an approach or a favoured attacking strategy. They're feeling their way through at the moment, and of course you've got a lot of changes, people coming in and out of the teams. I'm sure it's the same for Garryowen. Know a little bit more about what's happening at UCD this week. UCD have 3 fellows back from the Leinster Academy in Sean O'Brien the third might be called, the Sean O'Brien again Sean O'Brien a back rower. Is there any other position that Sean O'Brien could play? So Sean O'Brien at 8, Ben Brownlee, I think a grandson or grandnephew of Ronnie Dawson, former IRFU. He's an IRFU trustee and former Lions captain, Wanderers and Leinster player. Ben Brownlee at 12, and then Chris Cosgrave at full back. And I think both Munster half-backs, so you're saying, Gil, so both Messrs Cronin and Butler have donned the red of Munster.
Correct, yes. Butler, I think, originated from Ennis RFC and made his debut back in December in the Champions Cup against Wasps, back when Munster had their huge COVID crisis, and they were calling kind of anyone who could play rugby into the team. UCD with the knock on, and Butler kicks possession back. Donnelly underneath it. We haven't seen much of him, but he's a dangerous player. Given to Brownlee, and now there's a bit of space here. If Brownlee can give the pass, Jerry Hill now. It's a run in, and that's really good from UCD. Just kind of from an unstructured kick receipt. Donnelly just offload at the right time, and Brownlee 2-on-1, easy as you like. You can see it here.
Fantastic offload there from Donnelly, and Brownlee draws and gives it to Jerry Hill. You know, you'd be worried with the second row number on your back, but for the older viewers, it reminds me of David Coleman. Alberto Juantorina opens his legs in the 400 metres in 76, but on this, or 72, we can write in and tell us what the correct answer there. But Jerry Hill looking like a 400 metre runner there out of the wing, and not a bother to him closing out that score. You'd be happy with that.
Yeah, really good. And you can see Brownlee, just the injection of pace there, and then 2-on-1.
Well, it was from broken play. I mean, Chris Hennessy, again, a prop in open field and making great ground and bust a hole in the defence, but got stripped in the excitement. And you would have thought then that was Garryowen's opportunity to counter. But UCD doing extremely well off slim pickings. Smart play from Donnelly, smart play from Brownlee, and a proper classy finish from Jerry Hill lurking on the wing.
You can just see the ball getting knocked off the tee, Mick Maloney's tee, and he was hoping a bit of wind would blow that in, but it's just gone to the right hand side and wide. And 20 minutes in, it's been pretty even so far, but UCD fired the first shot, and Garryowen will look to build a bit of possession inside the UCD half, as they've kind of struggled to get into the UCD 22 so far. But as we said, the wind will play a part, and UCD probably would have hoped 20 minutes in they would have been more than 5 points ahead, but that's where we are now. And Garryowen with the restart from Butler to get us back underway.
And the sunlight staring into the Garryowen faces there, determined to make its presence felt.
Taken by O'Brien, and Mick Maloney kicks it deep. Taken by Jamie Shanahan, back into the midfield to Butler, and straight back to Cosgrave, who's underneath it. That's with a really nice looking kick, but it could be too far in this wind, but it bounces up nicely. Won't go dead anyway, I don't think.
That's that big wind, and in fairness, Cosgrave has a big boot on him. He got lucky there with the angle of the ball. It bounced high and took the speed out of it. Otherwise, it would have gone dead, and that would have been Shinshkelela.
Yeah, you can see Cosgrave looking to use that wind, but not to the best effect. But a goal line dropout isn't the worst outcome for UCD, as they get possession back.
The wind holding that up.
And UCD inside the Garryowen 22 now. Taken forward by Bill Burns. Tarrant now goes out the back to David Ryan. Harry Donnelly now looking to put a bit of pace on it. Does well. Offloaded to O'Grady, who's taken down just about 6 metres short. Evan Coyle now brings it forward. UCD starting to show a bit more dominance now through Bobby Sheehan. Look to move it right again. Sean O'Brien now. Really good ball carrier. Ball just falls loose, but taken by UCD again. Backward was the call from Stuart Gaffigan. Bobby Sheehan now just under the post. About a metre short. Is he held up? I think he's just held up by Garryowen.
Well, UCD will have. That was a great opportunity there, and good defence from Garryowen again. Very resolute. By rights, really, UCD should have closed that one out, I think.
You can see it. Just here, held up by Garryowen, and Sheehan won't be too pleased with himself.
He normally back himself one against 3 or 4 defenders.
And Garryowen, pardon me, once again with the goal line dropout. Kicked straight out.
Referee needs to go to the rule book, or certainly I'd need to go to the rule book.
Oh yeah, I'm the same.
Scrum 5, are we talking scrum 5?
I think so. Correct, scrum 5, yeah.
We think the referee's correct, we're not going to challenge him on that one.
I'll back him. Unforced error by Butler, and gives UCD a really, really easy in. Yeah, and a midfield scrum very, very difficult to defend.
neither of Butler's dropouts in those situations, they weren't struck with confidence. First one, you could argue the wind was holding it up and it made it easier for UCD to reclaim and launch that attack, that near try scoring attack. What do you think, Gil? So odds on that O'Brien's going to pick this and have a big rumble himself. He'll back himself and go.
He's looking to the Garryowen dugout to our right, calling for something. I didn't know exactly what they're
a free kick, anything, calling for anything. O'Brien certainly has told them all what he's going to do. He nearly was in the wing forward second row channel there, looking to pick channel 1 ball and go for it.
I wonder will they look to use O'Brien again, or will they switch it now that he's kind of giving them a clue anyway. We'll see UCD with 4 backs on the left hand side. But Neil Cronin gets behind him and takes him down. Ball's squirted out back with Martin Fallon now. Carries well. UCD look to go quick with Hennessy now. About a metre short. Desperate defence from Garryowen. Slowed it down anyway. Sean O'Brien now. Carries probably a bit too high.
Valuable metres lost there again. Great defence from Garryowen.
They're just doing enough to slow the UCD ball down and getting them a second just to get set and set a strong defensive line as we've seen for most of this game. UCD pick and go, I think through Hennessy. Slow ball once again. I don't know if Stuart Gaffigan will have a look to see if they're infringing, but they're doing it legally as we speak. But UCD look to keep the ball in hand and keep going here. Maloney now. Cosgrave looks to dance his way through, but it's a strong defensive line. Hennessy picks himself and needs support. We'll go back. I think that the jackal was good there from the Garryowen. I can't see the number on his back, but there was a previous infringement from Garryowen, and I think it's offside. And Bobby Sheehan will pick and go now, I think is the call.
Short move.
Bobby Sheehan goes himself. He's not far away.
Need to be faster though in recycling because Garryowen are well set on the pillars.
And we'll go back. This would be interesting. I'd say he'd probably have to have a word or possibly a card. Maloney goes quick. David Ryan now back in the team after a few months out. Really talented player. Back to Sheehan now. Quick hands and I think just knocked forward. Garryowen hold him out once again, Murph.
Psychologically, you got to think that's got to be massive for both sides. Really, Garryowen, it points the way forward. That they're trusting each other. They're really well organised, and to hold UCD out, they've had at least 3 try-scoring chances in the last 5 minutes, and by rights should have engineered it, found a way over. And for College, a lot of energy expended, and nothing to show for it.
You can just see there the replay you've just seen. I think it was Mark Fleming who kind of tried to give the quick offload, but it was just probably should have kept the ball in hand and went through the phases because UCD were putting them under pressure. Even though Garryowen were holding them out, they were under pressure anyway, giving away 1 or 2 penalties, and probably if UCD kept the ball could have forced another and potentially a card. But they get the scrum penalty. There
you go. Garryowen still have to get out of here. It's still an attacking position per se, and it's doubly so now that the penalty's been awarded to UCD. Another tap penalty.
Yeah, looking for more than 3 points anyway with 2 kickable penalties. But Bobby Sheehan picks himself. They're not far away now, and that's over. Really good from UCD. It was the quick ball there, just 2 phases. But once the ball came back quick, they really they went themselves. And I think it was Jerry Hill who got over. But good initial carry. You can see there from Sheehan. I think it's O'Brien, yeah, who gets over, gets really low underneath the Garryowen player, and they've got no chance of stopping him from that close.
And that was important from UCD's point of view and from Garryowen's. Garryowen would have been happy with half an hour gone and just 1 score, but it's now gone to 12-0. Apart from it being a scrum penalty, Gilso, I don't know why that was given. Only the referee will know why that happened, but it pretty much gave UCD what Garryowen had denied them for the previous 10 minutes or so with repeated attacks. That set them up, and for once Garryowen couldn't hold out Sean O'Brien.
Yeah, really. UCD did stay persistent. It kind of took them a bit longer, but they got their 7 points in the end, and they turned down 3 points twice, but they'll be happy. Took them a bit longer than it did, but listen, kicks by Harry Donnelly, and I think fielded by Henry Buttimer on the far side wing, or possibly Tommy O'Hora. I think it is that side.
A fine punt return there from Donnelly again with the wind at his back, but he close to the touchline. He kept it in and made good gain, good ground for UCD.
Just knocked on in the midfield by Garryowen there. They'll be really disappointed.
Yeah, you sense the air's gone out of the tires a little bit for Garryowen. You know, they did so well, they worked so hard, and they denied College the scores, only to really somehow be shot in the foot with that scrum penalty and the 7-pointer. And now from a kickoff, here they are with the UCD put in, and they're 5 metres into their own half. Garryowen, it's we test the resolve.
Yeah, Oisin Cook there with no real excuse to be knocking that one on, but UCD with the scrum just inside the Garryowen half, and we'll look to go again through the few dangerous backs that they have. They've got a really good back line today, and a free kick to UCD. Sean O'Brien at the base, picks now, goes over Butler. Garryowen now on the back foot once again. David Ryan pulls it out the back to Tarrant. Really nice from Ryan. Mick Maloney now into Hennessy. Needs support. Maloney goes again. A few Garryowen players down on the floor. David Ryan playing first receiver. Out to Tarrant with Cosgrave now, and they've got to overlap. Cosgrave with the skip pass to Donnelly. Donnelly kicks it forward. It's really nice. Taken there by Cosgrave. Just taken down about 6 metres short. Maloney now into Jerry Hill. Jerry Hill, really nice carry there. Just short of the Garryowen line. Carried once again by UCD. Garryowen slowing it down as we've seen, and Sure Gaffigan giving the penalty to UCD. That's, yeah, I think he could go to the pocket here, or at least a warning. That's a third penalty, I think, inside the 22, and I think the next one he'll be going to his pocket anyway.
Yeah, UCD looking like the score and the run of play now, they're just looking like they've taken the shackles off. They're playing with confidence, with real brio. The moves that are sticking. They're finding some flow in their back play.
Sheehan now worked last time, gives it to Hennessy this time, varies it up a little bit, but they opt for the pick and go once again. UCD look like they've nearly got there, but it's just at the base now. Think they're there. UCD try. Really good. Nothing too fancy, but just keeping it tight and getting under Garryowen and getting the reward.
Evan Coyle, tight head prop, grunting that one out. A second, here we see it. And there's a latch coming in there. And it's not often you say it, but a college pack grunting out 2 scores there. And the conversion. And that's been a very damaging 5 minutes or so for Garryowen.
And just 32 minutes into the game, UCD 19-0 up, but they look to make a sub, and Mike Mbod onto the pitch. Apologies if the pronunciation is incorrect.
Mbo, I'd be going for.
Played international rugby for the Netherlands and was a part of the Ealing Academy, so it'll be interesting to see what he can offer. And as well as that, Max Klein comes onto the pitch for Michael Veal. Or sorry,
Larry Kelly, I think.
Yeah, Larry Kelly and Veal off for Mike Maud.
Yeah, the brothy looking customers that have come on, they look like some beef and a hit in the air, bit of afters.
Bit of how's your father, Merv? Nothing too serious.
Well, You know my father and I know yours, so let's not go there.
And that's a yellow card for Shannon. We'll get his number when we can see it.
And that was just really, that was just for follow-up after. So I think it was unnecessary and really damaging his team further, unfortunately. The number 6.
Johnny Keane. And UCD.
Certainly not Johnny Be Good. Johnny Keane, unfortunately, 10 minutes in the sin bin there. And Garryowen under the cash, big style now. They really need to lock up that defence, which served them so well until the dam burst about the last 10 minutes, and try and get to half time and get use of that wind.
Jerry Hill taken in the air. Really nice line out from UCD, and they look to go through the midfield with O'Brien and Brownlee. Really big carry from O'Brien once again, with trying to get over the ball, and Maloney taking it quickly now, but we'll just come back. I don't think he was on the mark. Garryowen probably, I don't know, from my view anyway, probably a little bit unlucky, but Stuart Gaffigan thought otherwise, and I think he said the player wasn't supporting his body weight. As you can see, hand signals there, if you can make them out.
Yeah, one-way traffic at the moment. I don't know why the ref didn't let that quick tap penalty go. However, I think it serves College better to be taking the structured line out. I don't think Michael Maloney had an awful lot on going there, but we'll never know. He could well have proved me wrong.
And yeah, Tarrant kicks the ball inside the Garryowen 22, and UCD line out been pretty good so far, and we'll hope for the same. Martin Fallon this time in the air. UCD go to the maul. Penalty, Garryowen. Crossing, I think it was, yeah.
UCD suddenly looking like a well-oiled machine. Everything clicking, bar the obstruction there.
Yeah, the last 15 minutes have kind of been a totally different story, as Garryowen giving UCD just a lot of easy access into their half. The first 20 minutes, as we saw, was pretty nip and tuck, and Garryowen really strong defensively, but the last 15, as you said, the dam burst, and UCD getting a lot of access into the Garryowen half.
Yeah, and the UCD back three looking very solid. They're returning the ball well. That view there tells you how strong the wind is. I mean, that was low, hard and crooked if ever a line-out throw was. Even if that wasn't the intention, the wind was going to make it so, and it just does seem to be picking up here now, which could be Garryowen's saving grace when things turn around.
Yeah, 36 minutes gone, and UCD probably looking for one more score before half time, with the scrum just inside the Garryowen half, and yeah, the back line here will look to have a go, especially with one extra man. And Garryowen with the scrum free kick this time, and I don't know, I can't think of a scrum that's been completed, Murph.
Well, there's been one or two, but they're penny blacks in terms of rarity. And the referee, despite his stature, he looks like he hasn't seen much front row action himself, but he's showing the full range of knowledge on front row illegalities, and he's calling them with confidence before
Absolutely.
The ball even goes in down the tunnel.
Absolutely, I'm not in a position to challenge him anyway. If either front row wants to challenge him,
we're at a loss here, Gilso. We're at a loss. We don't know what's going on.
Into Butler now, out the back to the captain Hewson. Brownlee in over that one, but I think Garryowen got the ball back with Neil Cronin now. Max Klein, the big carry into the big man in the midfield now. Let's see what he can do. But Brownlee does really well.
Yeah, Brownlee likes to dig, doesn't he, at the breakdown? He's certainly not scared of getting his hands dirty.
Fleming and Evan Coyle, I think, have him held up here. That's really good from UCD. Really, really good.
Do you know, I was listening to a podcast earlier on today on talking about last week's match, the Demented Mole podcast. It's a brilliant non-commercial production. And the lads were actually commenting on the game last week. They were saying that they reckoned Ireland deliberately decided not to do any choke tackles so as to avoid any kind of scrums for the French and to limit the number of scrums in the game overall. But we saw College execute an excellent choke tackle there.
And we'll go back to the scrum here, and Garryowen with two replacements now on in the front row, so be interesting to see how this goes.
Looks like a completed scrum, Gilso.
O'Brien picks out to Tarrant now. Cosgrave got an option inside and outside him, but he takes it himself. Jerry Hill now in the midfield looking to take it forward, and he gets over the gain line as he usually does.
Good brothy carrier, Hill.
Out the back to David Ryan, who puts boot to ball, and Alex O'Grady's on this wing, and he looked to get around him. Oh,
Sheehan going for the Zebo heel flick there, and he missed that, and he'll take some stick in the clubhouse later on.
He needed a bit of that, but it was just behind him, and he nearly had it, but just you can see it there. Yeah, it was just behind him. Maybe he overran it slightly, but he'll say the pass was behind him anyway. But we'll come back for the UCD penalty just outside the Garryowen 22.
Yeah, Bobby Sheehan, club captain, brother of Dan Sheehan, or the way he puts it is Dan Sheehan's his brother. And Dave Ryan in the centre for UCD, brother of James Ryan.
And Dan Sheehan here supporting. I can see him from here anyway, and I'm sure James is probably the same as they're at home for the weekend and back into camp early next week for it. Flem takes it forward.
Flem is the nickname, is it?
Mark Fleming, yes.
Known as Flem for short.
With O'Brien now, he's got one already. Can he get over again? I think he's just short. Stuart Gaffigan trying to have a look, and he awards the try. O'Brien, I think it was again, getting over. And yeah, you can see him here. Just the body height he gets is just
latched by, was that Flem?
I think so. Really good from UCD, and as we said, they get the score before half time, and
bonus point there.
They give Garryowen a big mountain to climb in the second half. Not impossible, as we've seen, playing with the wind in the second half, of course, and as Maloney adds the 2 points there. But half time, and UCD dominant for the last 20. The first 20, as we saw, nip and tuck, but UCD really putting down a marker. 26 points to 0 first half, second half to come.
And thanks again to our matchday sponsors, Optimum Nutrition, club sponsors, business advisory firm EY, also Apple Green.
So you're looking for a little more. More strength, more energy, more hydration, more recovery. Those muscles, growing and repairing right now. More power to push forward, bounce back, or just stay and stay and stay. More self-belief, more life, more of just about anything. For over 35 years, we've been putting more into performance nutrition. So we know how to help you find a little bit more. There's more of you in you. And we can help you find it.
UCD's turn to face into that wind with a bonus point try up 26-0 against Garryowen. And the sun is out. UCD have to face that sun and wind that Garryowen had to put up with in the first half. And really, Garryowen, they prefer to be kicking off here and getting an early chance to cut into that lead.
Restart by Tarrant. Yeah, Garryowen really with a lot of work to do. They'll need more than this wind to help them. They'll need to really step it up, and UCD will look to close it out. But it'll be interesting to see if they can get back into the game, and kind of a score or two could put them right back in it. And they go through Jamie Houston here. Back to Neil Cronin. Picks himself, but no space, nowhere to go.
Yeah, Houston could have given an outside or inside pass there, but he did neither. And we're into silly buggers here in front of the stand.
There's still afters going on here, probably outside the screen. And we could have a bit of explaining to do. Apologies if any colourful language is coming across on the mics here, but there was a considerable amount of afters with 2 or 3 players involved from either team, and Sean O'Brien complaining about something. But I think we'll just take a second and let everyone take a breath, including ourselves.
Match officials share what information they have, but they're not going to have seen everything because there was too much going on, and it just tells you a lot of tension in the air. Absolutely vital now. It's do or die. Garryowen have to get into this game and get scores, but that's not going to be the way to do it. So whatever went on the ground carried on and turned into a second skirmish.
And Bobby Sheehan being called over, as well as Jamie Houston, with Oisin Cook, the Garryowen number 5, as well as Sean O'Brien. So I think it'll just be a talking to, nothing more. And I think there's no need for UCD to be getting dragged into any of this.
No, it's not going to do anything for them. It's not going to do anything for Garryowen either. Anyway, not the first skirmish to be seen here in Belfield, which UCD Rugby Club established in 1910, and Belfield has been the home, albeit it's a modern campus. It's been a campus for UCD, an active campus for 50 years from the academic point of view, but been playing rugby here since the 1930s, was when they started to piece together, the founding fathers of UCD pieced together the campus here through buying up 11 different estates, and it was the 1930s when they started playing games here. It took another 30 years into the 1960s before the science faculty was the first to move across here to Belfield. But you wouldn't know anything about the 1930s looking around the campus these days. It's a very, very modern and large campus in 2023.
And penalty to Garryowen. I'm not sure how Stuart Gavigan decided that, but penalty to Garryowen, and Butler kicks well inside the UCD 22. And Garryowen making another change here. I think Larry Kelly coming back in. And 16 Max Klein going to the back row potentially. So interesting proceedings with.
I think we're seeing the result of that yellow card there is probably
Kevin Seymour back to the dugout, but we'll see how this plays out. And Garryowen not having the right numbers in the line out, and I don't know, a few changes, putting a hooker into the back row probably confuses things a little bit.
Well, it's woken the crowd up if nothing else. They've all got something to shout about.
A bit of noise here again now in the Belfield Bowl as Garryowen go to the maul and into Butler now. Tommy O'Hora coming off the left wing. Back out to Jamie Houston, who's a big, powerful man, but coming up against Brownlee as well, opposite number. It's a good match. Sean O'Brien trying to get over that, but cleared away. Garryowen now looking just to build a bit of possession inside the UCD 22. They haven't had many entries into the UCD 22, and kind of important UCD to just give them nothing. And Jamie Houston once again with a big carry out the back, and they've numbers here, Garryowen, but I think it's just knocked on by Tony Butler, and he'll be disappointed with that because it was a walk-in try if not.
Yeah, Garryowen, that looked very good. Great urgency, good, nice direct carrying, accuracy in their passes until that last one.
You can just see there, it was Des Fitzgerald, I think, with the offload to Butler, and God, he probably looked up just before he caught it, because it was another pass to put someone away into the corner.
Scrum time, anything can happen here, whether the ball's in it or not. We'll see what the referee sees this time.
Maloney feeds, and it's a solid enough scrum. Completed again into Brownlee, into the midfield. UCD will just look to build a platform just so they can exit, but Garryowen get over the ball. But not long enough, says Stuart Gavigan. Back to Tarrant now. And Tommy O'Hora fields and looks to run it back. He's a dangerous player from what we've seen already. But stopped by Hennessy there.
Oh yeah, probably too many fancy feet there, whereas a direct carry might have given him more purchase. UCD no players on the ground as that ball is eventually played out.
Back to Des Fitzgerald. Open side flanker and taken by Tony Butler there, but UCD giving him no space to get through. And they'll come back this way towards us into the midfield. And it's a penalty to UCD.
High tackle again, the referee indicating.
Neck roll or something in the ruck, I think, yeah, high tackle or a neck roll, and Mick Maloney looks to go quick, but we've a few players on the ground. Yeah, you can just see the clear out here. I'm not sure which Garryowen player it is, but I think around the neck is what we saw, and Stuart Gavigan gives the penalty.
Yeah, the ball had cleared the ruck and Garryowen were on their way when Stuart Gavigan looked back and saw something he wasn't happy about, and he's now following it up with some conversation with, I believe it's Max Klein, who seems to accept the referee's comments.
And we've a few running repairs here. I'm not sure which UCD players I am, but there's a bit of treatment. It looks to be okay. And yeah, Garryowen struggled kind of all season with their first win coming against Lansdowne. Was it 2 weeks ago now? So they've been up against it all season long, but they probably would have came up here hopeful that they can kick on from their first win, but hasn't been the case so far, and they're right in the death zone, you'd call it, at the bottom of the All-Ireland League table.
Tarrant kicking into the wind. He doesn't look to keep it low. Certainly that went high and needed a bit of a James Lowe angle. I don't know if people heard the story on why James Lowe's first kick hit the sky cam last week. Did you pick that one up?
I did, on off the ball. If you haven't heard it, it's well worth a listen. There was a bit of a disagreement up in the press box, which caused the spider cam operator to lose concentration just 1 minute into the game. But we'll go back to Belfield here, and it's back with Tarrant and Cosgrave now. Harry Donnelly now on the right hand wing, kicks it forward. Garryowen covers there, but I think he goes into touch and it'll be UCD ball. Really good from Donnelly there.
Touch just slow to indicate which side the put in is to, and he eventually decides it's UCD's, which it seemed to be.
Really good from Harry Donnelly there. Just kicked it forward. Didn't have any space kind of to get around them, but kicked it forward and put the pressure on. The kick chase was there, and Harry Donnelly there wearing a headband. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's the Fergus McFadden tribute winger, in so much as Harry, great versatility. He's playing a super game here today.
A stylish man as well, so it could be for style, Murph.
I wouldn't go so
and
far
UCD
as stylish.
give away the penalty at the Mall. They'll be disappointed with that, as first kind of proper entry into the Garryowen 22 into the second half, and you can see it there. I'm not sure what exactly. There was the Garryowen player through the middle.
It's offside, I think, the referee's calling. He's brought it forward 10 metres, and he's UCD backline encroaching before the line had moved off the line. Although I thought the ball had been transferred in the maul, I thought that would have broke the.
Butler doesn't find touch there. He'd be disappointed at kicking with the wind. He was trying to get a bit too much out of it, and it's back at UCD. And Brownlee now, really talented player, big man as well, but he's got footwork to go with it. And Martin Fallon carries it forward now, and UCD have probably a 3-on-2 here, and David Ryan puts the pace on him. He's got Tarrant inside him. Ryan backs himself, and does he have the pace? He doesn't. Neil Cronin gets back, and I think just into touch, but really good from David Ryan there. I'm sure we'll see a replay now, but big injection of pace, and Neil Cronin did well to keep up with him.
Yeah, the UCD backs again showing how sharp and dangerous they are, and a lovely feint there from David Ryan. I guess him the extra 10 yards, but then brilliant defence here from Neil Cronin, who absolutely makes sure he nails his man and he gets him into touch for the Garryowen put in. So Neil Cronin proving his worth there.
Yeah, David Ryan there had Tarrant inside him, but there was probably cover from Garryowen, but probably worth chucking it back inside to keep the ball in play. But it wasn't a certain try if Tarrant got the ball. But UCD with the turnover in the line out. Back to Evan Coyle now. Garryowen's line out really just isn't firing today anyway. Back with O'Brien now.
Always makes a bit of ground.
Been everywhere today, yeah. He's been really good. Jerry
Hill
once again.
Spinning through the tackles.
Out the back to Tarrant. Cosgrave now. And UCD once again with the entry into the Garryowen 22 and look to come away with the score and put a stamp on the second half. But it's scrappy. Back with Alex O'Grady. And there's a few players in the way, but nothing called from Stuart Cavigan. Sheehan now, really powerful ball carrier, as we've seen. With Cosgrave now, gives it to Donnelly on the wing, and Harry goes for the corner, but there's cover there. It's really good from Harry Donnelly. Really good finish.
Excellent finish, the total and utter. Again, Fergus McFadden, wannabe, tackle me if you dare. He was going over that line. It was just a question of how many Garryowen players were going to go over with him. He didn't second guess it
really
whatsoever.
Good pass
Pins
Cosgrave.
his ears back. Well, they were already pinned back with that ridiculous headband.
Brilliant pass from Cosgrave. And wow, he does well to finish
Brilliant
that.
finish. He's been really efficient in everything he's done all day today.
He's been brilliant for UCD this year, Harry Donnelly. I think he's played probably nearly every position in the back line. He's played in the centre anyway, full-back, winger, but he'll do a job no matter what, as Mick Maloney eyes up the kick to add the extra 2. And it's a really good start to the second half from College.
What was the half-time recital? Well, do you want the interlude while we're waiting? Kill some time. What do you think, James?
It's an excellent kick from Maloney, who uses the wind just to guide it in, and you can see the smile on his face anyway from here. And that looked nice in the air anyway.
And it just doesn't get any easier for Garryowen.
And a few replacements coming on here for Garryowen. Number 21, Sam Hanrahan. And we'll bring you up to date as well, as we see 19 as well, Reece O'Malley coming on, and as well as that 20, Evan Maher. We hope they're the right names, as the team sheets were mixed up, possibly a bit of gamesmanship, but we're not going to accuse anyone of anything. Tarrant fields it.
It's probably just a case, as has happened here.
Mark Fleming back with Tarrant. Maloney outside him. Good cover tackle. And Garryowen get over that ball. Yeah, win the penalty there, and UCD just not quick enough to support Maloney.
Yeah, College definitely hanging on there too long. And you see some nice interplay, nice take there from Tarrant. Is it Michael Maloney then?
Yeah, good cover tackle. And UCD just
holding on too long there.
Yeah. But originally Mark Fleming with the break showed a great injection of pace, and the support play was there, but not enough, as Maloney was tackled well, and just Garryowen were there first. But yeah, that try just a few moments ago. Really, really important psychologically just to get the first score at the second half, because obviously 4-0, it would have been uphill for Garryowen, but a score would have given them a glimmer of hope. But UCD fire in the first blow, really, really important. And once again, thanks to Optimum Nutrition, today's matchday sponsor. And just after coming off, Oisín Cook is back on the pitch.
It looks like that ankle has finally given up there for the Garryowen forward. I think he's back rower. It's Kevin Seymour who's come off. Like, he's a man who can also play back row. He was originally slated to sub.
Evan Coyle coming off here for UCD, and I think it's Ryan McMahon wearing 16. He's down on your team sheet as 18, but I think
that's try scorer Evan Coyle to you, Gilso.
Correct, Marv.
If you don't mind.
Apologies. Garryowen look to play here through Butler. Really nice Harry Donnelly with the tackle. And Cronin now looks to move it into Des Fitzgerald, who's taken down
again.
Well.
There's no UCD players on the ground. Garryowen are not sucking UCD players in, so they've got everybody.
Matt Sheehan there taking it forward now just inside the UCD 22. And it's a good carry there from Johnny Keane, who was seen a bit earlier, but back on, looking to prove himself. And Mike and Baud taking it forward. Cronin not sure which way to go, but Butler sends him to his right.
I think advantage being played here, Gil, so not quite sure what it's for, whether it's a knock-on or a penalty advantage, but the referee had his arm out in Garryowen's favour.
Back with Oisín Cook, but tackled behind the gain line. Solid so far from UCD. Big hit coming in from Ryan McMahon. They go out the back. Maloney just with the tackle, but Garryowen getting a bit of ground over UCD here, but still UCD with pretty much 14 players nearly on their feet, as they're not really going after any ruck ball. They're just looking to get off the line. But Garryowen playing some nice rugby, and he gets away from the tackle and it's just short. Butler now just holds on to it, but chucks it. Reece O'Malley, I think, wearing 19. Cronin goes right to Baud, taken by O'Brien. And Garryowen now just about a metre short. Garryowen really need a score here if they're looking to come away with anything from this game.
Big ball carrier and a latch would see it done.
And I think he gets over, does he, or is he just short?
It looked over to me.
It was Des Fitzgerald going for the line, but I think he was just short, and he awarded it now. Garryowen try, not sure who. We'll hopefully see a replay.
Yeah. First score to Garryowen of the day.
They held on to it well, and they come away with the reward. And
that was an odd one. The player seemed to place the ball backwards between his legs.
That's a first anyway. I haven't seen anything like that before. But
I think backwards between your legs should get 6 points. It should be worth more than 5 points. It's
and the 2 points added by Butler.
For originality.
And Tim Corkery now coming on. I think David Ryan potentially coming towards us to the dugout. David Ryan just back, first game back from a hamstring injury. He's been gone for, I think it was 2 or 3 months nearly. And he's been really good, hasn't he, Merv?
He's been very good today in a very good UCD backline. They're making the most of all the possession that the forwards have served up. Garryowen losing another player there has gone behind the posts. So a number of fellas have gone off now through injury. The subs bench is fully utilised.
And yeah, Tim Corky coming. I think he'll play probably outside centre, but we'll see how they set up. Tarrant now with the restart. Donnelly and Corky are there at the kick chase. Oh, really well taken from Harry Donnelly.
Extraordinary.
Sent it back to Maloney. Really good take in the air from Donnelly. Taken forward now. Cosgrave playing first receiver. Oh, there's a gap there from him, but last gasp tackle from Garryowen. Back to Corky now. You can just see UCD really opening it up with kind of 2 or 3 options at first receiver. To Tarrant, Cosgrave, Corkery, all of them kind of used to playing that at some stage in their career. And UCD really playing some nice rugby now.
Hennessy making himself available again. He's certainly one of the mobile props. I think that's Burns who knocks on there.
Yeah, just knocked forward. And there's not much cover back there for UCD. Bobby Sheehan being the first to react.
Bobby will look to shimmy his way over from here.
Bit of work to do. Given to O'Grady. And O'Grady dances through. Back to Sheehan. It's really good. You can just see the work. Credit to Bobby Sheehan there as a hooker, being the first man to react and the first man to get back after 60 odd minutes. Well done, Bobby Sheehan, and UCD get the penalty.
And Alex O'Grady, it was the pair of them got them out of trouble there. Tag team. Garryowen were involved in UCD's establishment back in 1910. I'm told by Professor Peter Clark, a trustee of UCD Rugby Club, former financial accounting lecturer here in the commerce faculty. Peter is responsible. If you hear anything intelligent from either Gilso or myself on the facts of college rugby, is thanks to Professor Peter Clark. But it was a UCD touring side back in the Christmas of 1910 that the college authorities had found had mistakenly put together a touring slush fund and sent some players down. I think they played a match against Garryowen in 1910. I think it was it might even have been slightly before 1910. And from that, the college rugby club was established.
Just before me and your time, Merv, 1910.
I remember it well.
Hennessy hit well in the midfield. Maloney.
Hill takes.
Hill.
That was well done by Hill.
Scrappy in the middle there, and UCD knock on. Garryowen scrum.
Yeah, Jerry Hill, the ball going behind him there, and he managed to reach back, take the contact, and just couldn't get rid of the offload as well. But high skill levels from the second row.
We don't see him making too many mistakes. We'll forgive him for that one. And Garryowen with the scrum now just on the 10-metre line.
Try scoring Hill as well. Have backs scored any tries yet today, or have they all been?
Donnelly in the corner
Donnelly,
there.
but he looked more like a forward or a back row going over there. Keep mistake. I don't know what position. I think he wants to be a back row forward. He's got the attitude for it. Back rows and centres, though, separated at birth. Very little DNA difference between those two positions.
Butler now through the midfield.
Nice break.
Nearly taken down, but he's still going. Tony Butler gives it to his right. And they're well inside the UCD 22 with UCD. It's a turnover for UCD. Really, really good. Because UCD were numbers down as a few forwards were slow to get back there. And I think it's your friend Harry Donnelly, Merv, somehow got across to the far wing and forced the turnover.
Who else? I recommend that all backs wear strong strapping wrapped tightly around their head, adds to performance. I expect we'll see him in the clubhouse later on, probably still with the strapping on, because it's having the right effect. We're a stoppage in play here for trying to see who that is. College player, I think a forward, who was trying to take Butler down on the break and landed awkwardly.
Possibly Mark Fleming or Bill Burns. I'm trying to see who's still out there.
Who's still standing?
Mark Fleming potentially could be down here.
Or who wears yellow boots is the other one.
Doesn't look the best from here, but we wish him all the best.
Yeah, the medical team just going through the right precautions, making sure everything's done properly. One suspects that possibly the college team had their dose of Optimum Nutrition before they took the field today, because there's certainly been a spring in their step throughout.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we'll pause here for a couple of minutes potentially. Hopefully it's nothing serious from Mark Fleming and they're just taking the relevant precautions. But looks like we'll be stopped anyway for a minute or two. And so yeah, after this, you'd presume UCD would hold on to this lead anyway. And then there's 6 games to play. The UCD playing Corkon, Terenure, Young Munster, Trinity, and Clontarf. So
yeah, only
no
2 home fixtures in
not
that.
an easy run in.
No,
but,
all the top 5 teams in the league. At 2 home games, including the colours match here on the Friday the 31st of March against the inner city team of Dublin University Football Club.
I think I've heard of them.
The oldest rugby club, apparently, continuous rugby club in the rugby world.
Yes. But yeah, no easy game really in this league. But Garryowen then with their remaining 6 fixtures against Shannon, Corkon, Terenure, Young Munster, and Trinity. So listen, this league you get no easy game, but certainly Garryowen, it's not looking too optimistic for them at the moment.
I think I'm going to say that's Burns, son of Willie Burns, the all-singing, all-dancing hooker and captain of this club. UCD in the 80s, played at Lansdowne. Many say he should have played for Ireland, but there was very little he couldn't do. Incredible forward, but he had the feet and hands and speed of a centre. A fast centre at that. But Bill there coming off the worse for wear on this occasion.
And Mick Maloney off as well now, and Rob Gilson comes into proceedings. Mick Maloney really good today, once again, and he'll be happy with how he went. Now, back with UCD line out here, and it's just gone to the back. Missed his jumper, but UCD gather it, and they'll look to get out of here anyway and try and get out of their half anyway. But as we've seen, first half and second half, most of the game being playing up to the left hand side as we look at it, with this wind playing a factor anyway. And UCD win the penalty at the ruck.
Yeah, Garryowen losing the penalty count, almost as much as losing the try count so far in this game. And once again, field position is going to be coughed up here. We'll see if James Tarrant keeps the ball any lower this time, and he does, and he gets a better result.
Still just inside their own half, but used to be happy enough. And Bobby Sheehan once again with the feed into the line out. A few new combinations. Joe Cronin onto the pitch, and it's Burns who takes it in the air.
Yeah, it was the long ball that was probably taken away by the wind. They went short that time. Nice catch, nice drive, but does the ball come back? Rob Gilson produces the egg.
Brownlee feeds it to O'Brien.
Great leg drive again.
Really, really good. Gilson moves it back to Tarrant. And O'Grady now just nearly held up against the deck. And UCD coming down the blind side once again. Slow to roll away. I think we've advantage here. Ryan McMahon in the midfield.
Takes 3 to get him down.
And there's a few players here, but Hennessy takes it. And he's hit. He's hit well, but we'll come back for the penalty advantage. And Stuart Gaffigan just pauses proceedings, and I think he wants a word with one of the Garryowen players.
Chris Hennessy has been very mobile, hard-working prop, and made himself available for the carry, but he was met hard there by Sam Hanrahan with a great tackle there under the camera.
Yeah, Garryowen's discipline really letting them down and doing them no favours.
And I was offside again at the ruck.
Tarrant now with the kick. Just inside, yeah, well inside the Garryowen 22, and UCD will look to get over the whitewash as they've done in the second half already.
Promising position, Gil. So yeah, promising position. Once again, possibly the first enemy to be dealt with is the wind, as you can see from the touch judge's flag.
Sheehan
Or
now
not, just out of shot
feeds
there.
it. Taken by Cronin in the air. The maul comes down by Garryowen, but the ball's there for Sheehan. Sheehan takes it himself.
Sucks in a lot of defenders. Harry Donnelly now is playing scrum half. Now he's clearing out rucks.
Ryan McMahon now takes it forward. Gilson and digs for it. Feeds
Nice
to
hard
O'Brien.
flat ball.
Really good line. They go open side again and back to Tarrant. Corker's there and should be it. Oh,
That's
it's good last ditch defence from Garryowen. Feeds back inside. I think it's Bill Burns. UCD go, but Garryowen defence is still holding them out.
Garryowen still have numbers. They're still fanned out across the field, so it's going to take brute strength or craft.
O'Brien now.
They look under O'Brien there
Ball's
again.
there, but possibly stripped in contact. We'll see who comes out with it, and I think, yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Max Klein, I think that was, has kicked it dead. And it'll
and
be
a
UCD scrum.
UCD, yeah.
And
it's,
you won't be thanking them for that if you're a Garryowen player.
no, licking their lips, I'd say, the UCD backline here with a 5-metre scrum. They could go either side. That got a bit confusing down there. The ball was bobbling about. There was
I think Garryowen stripped it in contact and it kind of squirted out and something came over Max Klein anyway, and he decided to show his footballing skills and lack thereof. And UCD now with the attacking platform just on the 5-metre line, and will reset.
just when I thought the scrums maybe had settled down. It's back to being
We
an
had
era of
a few
confusion.
good ones in a row, but yeah, we're back to. You can just see the pitch getting dug up there, and it shows that the big units digging it up there in the front row.
The photographer in the background there, Dominic Coyle, father of Evan Coyle. He takes aim once again. Takes a great chronicle of UCD rugby over the last number of years.
Great club, man, yeah. And that scrum looks a bit more steady, but Garryowen get a bit of a shove, and I think O'Brien will try and pick, and Gaffigan.
Reset here, looks like Mbo was getting the shoulder up there. Two big men on this side, Ryan McMahon and Mbo.
Yeah, the substitute Lou said for Shannon, you're going with Mbo.
Well, he's still playing for Garryowen. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah, Netherlands
He
international.
flew into
as-
Shannon
as I
possibly
said.
when he came here from the Netherlands, and that's probably where the confusion's coming from. But he's definitely playing for Garryowen, and we don't know how to pronounce his name. We should.
And was part of
Mbo.
Listen. And yeah, penalty UCD, and Sean O'Brien taps quickly, and we hit advantage now. I don't think Garryowen got back 10. Ball slow to come back, but UCD looking to pick and go now. I think he's awarding a try, I think, or is it a penalty?
Looks like the try.
Try for Ryan McMahon. And Gaffigan calling over Des Fitzgerald, I think it is, Garryowen, number 7, who will go to the sin bin.
That's the second yellow card of the day. Repeat offences.
And
Looks like Chris O'Hennessy is going to be taking a well-earned rest. Hugo O'Malley coming onto the pitch now at loose head prop for UCD as Chris Cosgrave lines up the conversion to take this to 40 points. And it was a 40 points UCD scored in the first fixture, is that right? 22-47?
yes, it was, yeah, 47-22 to UCD. High scoring fixture down in is it Dooradoyle, Garryowen's home ground?
Dooradoyle indeed, yeah.
On the 12th of November, that was the return fixture, and UCD showing dominance again here. Butler now with the restart, and O'Brien's underneath it. Taken well.
Well tackled again. Hanrahan enjoys the tackle as he showed earlier on today with his hit on Chris Hennessy.
Cosgrave now, he's been good today. Just looking to find a gap, but there's nothing there this time. Out the back to Tarrant now. UCD really looking to play, but probably not the best idea. Well inside their 22, taken by Donnelly.
Fear not, Donnelly has the ball.
Intercept throw and Shannon Garryowen get the try. Apologies.
Yeah, Neil Cronin doesn't need a second invitation there as College just trying. Harry Donnelly saves UCD's bacon the first time. There's a turnover. Indeed, College play it out of the ruck here, and but just the pass doesn't see Neil Cronin lurking, and he doesn't need a second invitation.
And yeah, Tony Butler now looking to add 2 points. I was the bit of research I was doing last night, Merv. I was just actually taking a drop kick just to the left and wide. But Tony Butler is quite the CV. Obviously, as I said earlier, made his Champions Cup debut in December for Munster. Grand Slam winner at under 20 level for Ireland, and back in his day, as far as my my research is true, a Clare minor hurler. So jack of all trades.
Was that you crashing the internet last night doing your research? I'm getting a bit worried about you, a first-year college man in on a Friday night doing research. I mean, is your future in broadcasting, or did you do that research after you came home?
Restart taken by Tarrant. Donnelly in the air again, but
Donnelly competing with the forwards.
Yeah. Garryowen into the midfield, look to play, look for a gap somewhere. Back with Butler now. UCD defence still holding strong.
And quite obviously UCD enjoying themselves here. It hasn't been a regular feature, getting victories and getting victories with.
And it's knocked on by Garryowen there, by the 13, Matt Sheehan, and kind of sums up Garryowen's day. Just really, really frustrating. A lot of unforced errors, poor discipline, and in a do or die fixture, they haven't really shown up, unfortunately, for Garryowen's case.
No, once the cracks started appearing and a couple of scores came in quick succession there towards the end of the first half, the heads seemed to go down and sort of lost their shape a bit, and the skills are definitely there. There's definitely good players. It's just so much of the game is mental. Larry Kelly looking like he's having to go off. There's been quite a number of running repairs throughout the day for Garryowen as well. And you feel for them seeing this fixture out at this stage. It's tough.
It is, yeah, and a great club with a great tradition. Looking like they'll probably go down now, but I'm sure they'll rebuild, and hopefully, if they do go down, they'll be back up into the All Ireland League as soon as possible, because they are, as I said, a great club with a great tradition. And what was your history? 1884.
1884, and involved anyway in the formation of UCD. That first, what better way to start a rugby club than on tour at Christmas to Limerick in 1910.
Pretty solid scrum, and Gilson gives to Tarrant. Out to Corky and Donnelly. Donnelly now gives it to O'Grady, and O'Grady in over the whitewash. Really textbook stuff from UCD. The whole back line involved pretty much through the hands, and you can see it here in the replay.
King of beauty, lovely pass from Gilson. Tarrant, is it Brownlee there?
The decoy from Maloney.
Around. And Harry Donnelly looking like he could go himself, but draws, creates the space. And an easy finish in the end for Alex O'Grady, who had kept his shape, stayed out in the wing, and that was very classy from College there. And the score is creeping back towards what it was back in October. It's 22-47. If this conversion is made, it'll be 47-12, and just there's a near symmetry that's unusual.
And Bill Burns off now, and Ben Porter comes on at hooker, I'm pretty sure, and Bobby Sheehan goes to the back row, as we've seen a few times this year. But his preferred position, I think, is hooker, Bobby Sheehan. But he's flexible, and UCD have been lucky enough to have Gus McCarthy playing a few games with them this year. Under 20, Ireland under 20s captain. He's played a couple of games, and Sheehan's shifted to the back row, and he's a big impact wherever he's playing. Bobby Sheehan, club captain, he's done an unbelievable job this year so far. Garryowen now. The last few minutes, just hoping kind of this one ends as is. UCD really just playing with a lot of freedom now, and Sheehan on that far wing takes it forward.
Like a rampaging wildebeest, Sheehan. He's enjoying the hard ground. Great engine.
And Ben Porter taking it forward.
Tarrant, lots of options.
Here's Brownlee now. He's got Gilson inside him, but he doesn't look like you need him so
One-handed
far.
running.
But he backs himself to go the length, and he fends off the tackle. It's really good from Brownlee. Great try.
Harry Donnelly was on the outside, so he was covered if he was tackled, but I would have preferred to have seen two-handed running there. Two hands on the ball, at least, when he was running. But the proof's in the eating of the pudding, and that's 5 points to Brownlee, and a very classy individual break and a good burst of speed at the end of a match to get over for yet another score, and bringing the score to 50 points now for College.
Yeah, Brownlee, of course, involved in the Leinster setup, and two senior caps, and probably the start of a few more as well, as he's been really impressive today once again. And I think that's the end of the game by the looks of things, as Tim Corkery looks to add the extra 2. That makes it 50. Tim Corkery adds the 2, as Stuart Gaffigan blows the full-time whistle, and really good performance from UCD, and Garryowen will be hugely disappointed, as they're coming up here to at least get a point or even more. But really good from UCD, and it's a step in the right direction to stay up anyway for College. And unfortunately, doesn't look great for Garryowen, but full-time score here in the Belfield Bowl, 52-12, and yeah, really dominant. The first 20 was kind of nip and tuck, as we mentioned, but UCD, once they got a foothold, they really pulled away, and it's a really good performance. Anything to add, Merv?
Yeah, well, both sides showed they can play. Some really lovely rugby from College when they got their tails up, but both sides gave us great entertainment and showed the high standards that are in the Energia All-Ireland League, and 1A in particular that we're watching here. So it's a long, lonely trip back for Garryowen, but what doesn't kill you make you stronger. And so much of this, there's injuries, there's opening up a lead after a lot of pressure. They've obviously got the makings of a good side there, and they need to work a few work-ons and get a few things right, and they'll be back, no question of that.
Yeah, 6 games left to play, obviously, and yeah, UCD in a good position now. We'll probably need another win or another few bonus points just to secure themselves, but we'll have a look at other results today later on and see where we lie. And UCD play Cork next weekend, and Garryowen play Shannon, so still a bit to play for with 6 games left, but coming towards the business end of it now, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the table is looking after those 6 games. But that's all from me, Merv. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, Gilso, and thanks again to Optimum Nutrition, our matchday sponsor, and the other club sponsors, chief sponsor EY, Apple Green, and also Cantor Fitzgerald.
As well as Doppler Media for providing the streaming services to us today. Thank you very much, and we'll hopefully see you next time. Thanks a lot.
you're looking for a little more. More strength, more energy, more hydration, more recovery. Those muscles, growing and repairing right now. More power to push forward, bounce back, or just stay and stay and stay. More self-belief, more life, more of just about anything. For over 35 years, we've been putting more into performance nutrition, so we know how to help you find a little bit more. There's more of you in you, and we can help you find it.